Want to welcome everyone to today's working session of the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners. This meeting is being taped for playback later on WRPS and YouTube. The matters on the agenda are those anticipated for discussion. Other items not listed may be discussed as far as the extent permissible by law. With that, I'll take a motion on today's meeting.
Motion to open the meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Hashim's a yes. Our first order of business, I'd like to welcome our new member of the Board of Sewer Commissioners, Mr. Daniel DeRoss.
Hey, Daniel.
I was here last week, guess what happened?
Last week you sidetracked.
Nobody
This week-
showed up.
This week I'm
Me.
focused. Couple side notes I want to bring up before we start. I'm going to be issuing a letter to Beechwood Estates regarding them coming off of the waiting list and off all approved lists as of effective May 18th, excuse me. At our May 15th meeting, I'm going to be looking for a vote to allow 320 and Manzella to connect, get them off the waiting list, using the capacity that will be available from Beechwood Estates. I'm also going to invite them to the meeting if they want to attend. I don't think they will. At the June meeting, I'm planning on inviting Holy Family to see what their status is in as far as development in relation to the new moratorium, where there were previous connection with less use. But I want to have, before they come in, I need to have a conversation with the EPA, which I'll probably do in the next couple of weeks. Okay, with that said, the Veolia contract discussion. At this time, I can't go through numbers publicly. We do have a verbal understanding with Veolia. As everyone knows, I wasn't a big fan, and I think we discussed it, of the two automatic 5-year renewals. Our out was the word may, not shall, so we opted to get out of that. Excuse me, what we're going to be looking at is a 3-year renewal. In that 3-year renewal, we can go out if we want for a proposal for new bids after the second year. The numbers look very good, and like I said, once I received the final amendment yesterday afternoon. There was a change that they made that I wasn't very happy with. They've changed it back to the way we originally agreed. It's in the hands of Chris Kenny and Clifford Associates, whatever they are, for review, and hopefully I'll have an answer back by today. Once that's done, I'll put it out in an email to you guys to review, and we'll discuss it openly on the 15th or at our next working session.
And how many other people have put bids in? How many other people have put bids in? How many other people have put bids in?
We didn't sequester bids yet. One of the dilemmas that we had was that if we went out for request a bid, they dragged it out to the point they shouldn't have. And that's partially my fault. I should have been pushing this sooner rather than later. But we didn't go out for request a bid. We would have had to have the bids in by the end of May. Plan on transition in June, and they would have had to take place in July. We still could do that. I've made up a contingency plan if things go awry with this, but I just assume not run the risk of making an error where we have so much on the board right now. I mean, our plates are full, and we've got a lot going down, and it's going to get much more complicated with the next discussion. So that's where we stand as far as Veolia. Like I said, hopefully I'll have an answer for you tonight. The second I do, I'll send the email out. I'll have Robert send the email out for your review. Base discussion and updates. What I'd like to do, if you have a copy of this, Jack, you can take a look at that one. That's just for reference right now. Gives show that to Jack. I think you got a copy of this.
Did you get that?
No, thank you.
Okay, then give this one to Jack because this is all public record. Okay, the sheet I just handed out to you. Again, I think I made a public record the last time out. I believe I did, and I'll put it out again on the website. Those are the 4 or 5 options. Can I borrow yours so I have something to look at? 4 or 5 options. Oh, you got it? No. Okay, you got it. These are the 4 options that the base is, that Weston Sampson from our discussions provided the base with the costs of each one and the estimated amounts of removal. Yeah, you don't see that leaning over each other. And the estimated amounts of removal. Okay, you can spread that out. She's got hers. You can give her some room here. The way the discussion went, we had a meeting last Friday. Now, what I want everyone to bear in mind is they've gone from a requirement of 1.6 million gallons a day down to 400,000 gallons a day. They're now down to 200,000 or 170,000 gallons a day. They're basing that 170, 200, let's use 200,000. They're basing that 200,000 gallons a day on the actual usage on the connections in the Weymouth section right now. Those actual usage numbers do not take into account peak flow. Peak flow is high water events, rain, so the numbers are fictitious from the get-go. That 200,000 gallons, and I'll get into it a little later, also does not include our 11-to-1 removal ratio. Okay? They questioned the 11-to-1 removal ratio, but they didn't pursue it any further. And I threw in that, well, as a state minimum, anyone contributing 15,000 gallons or more must, by regulation, remove 4-to-1, which puts their base removal number up to 800,000 gallons. Now, my numbers are telling me that their realistic use is at a very, very minimum 1 million gallons a day. And that's, I'm giving a lot of leeway for peak flows. I've been told I'm conservative, but I'm going to use that for our discussion purposes. Now, they looked at option 1, which is smoke and dye testing. They did not commit to numbers, but they feel, and I'm in agreement, that probably the biggest bang for our buck that we could get as far as removal, excess flow removal, would be from inflow. Inflow, again, is being from sump pumps, roof drains, driveway runoff, things of that nature. The caveat and a pitfall to that is that that's all private property. Okay? So, number 1, by regulation, they have to allow us access in to review these, but there's really nothing we can force them to do right now, except if we find an illegal roof drain. But the problem with that is that when you go after inflow, it's a much more dragged out process. This is my opinion. I'm sure they'll challenge that. Because the way I look at it, if you look at option 1 that they have, just via the smoke and dye testing, that is just throwing the packets in the thing, looking for the smoke in the buildings. Mm-hmm. The next step is physically inspecting the building or the structures. Now, before anything could take place, we have to have a plan. There's got to be a public awareness program done, because there is a risk of smoke getting into the homes. Now, people may balk at that, say they don't want it done, but the benefit to that is, if you've got smoke in your home from a testing, they've identified sewerage or a methane leak, which is a health hazard. But they want to kick something like that off this year, and I'm going to go into it a little more, but I think that's rather aggressive. The soonest we could do it is the fall. Now, if you look at the numbers they're talking about, if you're not, let me just say that. If you're looking at their numbers, they're looking at starting at $210,000 and doing option A, which is 80% of the town. Weston Sampson believes we should just do the whole town at the minimal cost, where it's just another $179,000. Do the whole town, get over and done with. But if we just look at the 210, they have not committed that money yet. What they want to know is if we would, how much money we would commit to it. Now, our smoke and dye testing, which is what I gave you in this copy here.
Here it comes.
Who's calling on that?
Great intro.
You gotta go get that call.
Sorry, public. Where was I? Okay, the I&I control then. Our smoke and dye testing for the I&I program is not scheduled to begin until next year. If we follow our I&I program, which we are technically a year ahead of time, we were going to do another round of camera work, manhole inspections, which is beginning this Thursday. Now, we can cut that short. So any money we had allocated for the I&I work, we could say, okay, stop. This is what we have left to give you, which is why I sent you that email the other day. Or we could just say, you know what, we'll also do the smoke and dye testing, but here's what we have to give you. So this way, they haven't committed any funds. They want to see, they're basically, to me, is looking to get as much as they can for nothing.
Correct.
All right? I'm being blunt with it. If we go with inflow, now remember, this is just a smoke and dye testing. The inspections is another,
Inspections.
what I put down, I just lost it.
750 for 80%.
Is another $750,000 for 80%. Okay? I don't know how much of that they're willing to spend. None of this money so far, now if you go by their numbers, we're now up to $1 million, and that's no remediation. There's no return on the investment. Okay? So we're going to continue that discussion, but there's something else I wanted to bring up to you. I am going to be sending you out a letter to proofread that I want to send to Bob Galvin. And what I'm going to do is I'm just not going to go through the nitty gritty of it, but I'm leading off. I'm going to add a statement that says, so no one misunderstands the intent of the letter or questions the support of the Sewer Commission for the New England Development Project. There are some serious questions that need to be asked. So what I'm going to ask Bob is I'm requesting at your earliest convenience that he meets with the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners to discuss the matters contained in this memo. The meeting will be in open session, virtual or in person. It's up to him. But this meeting needs to take place, and it's got to be out in the open. I want to go through the current status. I want everyone aware of what the current status is. So nobody says, especially from another board or committee, says, we're making a mountain out of a molehill. All anyone's ever gotten us is real numbers, and I'm giving them real numbers there. So, but there's a lot, if we make concessions to the base, for example, if we find, say, we go with the base, and they find 500,000 gallons of I&I, of inflow, who owns that? Do we got to hold that in reserve for the base? That means we can't allow any more new connections at all. So I have drawn up a list of what I think of is about 15 bona fide legal questions that needs answering really quickly before this board commits any money to the base. Now, I'm going to give you some numbers that are public record that you've got to be aware of, and it's on tape, so you're hearing it here again. Now, the treatment plant is over its 2.5 million gallons a day right now by 510,000 gallons. That's a 12-month rolling average of 3.1 million gallons a day. We have 510,000 gallons over the limit that the EPA looks at. They look at the rolling average. We've got 2 projects that were approved prior to the moratorium. Their flows are not included in any numbers yet. That's 365 and Dyer Street. They'll add another 12,900 gallons a day. We also have 2 projects waiting to connect that'll add 1,980 gallons. And we have 5 other projects that want to connect as soon as the capacity is available that'll add 60,000 gallons a day. We've already approved connections that are not subject to the moratorium at 1,200 gallons a day. So the bottom line is that we need to remove 76,000 gallons a day that are committed to new connections. That's per the 1101. For the 1101, we have to remove, that 75,600 gallons is just the base flow. To meet the EPA order, that means we have to remove 831,000 gallons just for what we've promised and connected. Then you add in the 510,000 gallons just to get us to 2.5, okay? Now that does not include what the NIPDES permit and Mass DEP wants you at. Now remember, in the NIPDES permit on page 19, if you are above 80% of your capacity, you have to report why and how you're going to reduce your numbers. Now remember also in the EPA administrative order, they wanted Rockland, look, I want to make sure I read it correctly.
2-0.
Hold on, let me read it correctly here. Okay, the EPA, I'm going to try to remember by law, by word. Oh, the administrative order, the EPA requires Rockland to demonstrate a continuous flow reduction, to stay within permit limits, and demonstrate a historical record of permit compliance. That's in the order. So that's one of the questions I have. So I didn't even deal with the 500,000 gallons that got to come out to get us to the 80%. So there's a lot of there's a reality check that needs to be done. Now we're talking about a facility upgrade that's not going to give us any more capacity. That facility upgrade is easily 6 years away before we start realizing anything, okay? Rockland right now desperately needs some form of secondary treatment system. The numbers are there to support it. We either need a groundwater discharge system, which will only take our excess flow. Hey, Danny, excess flow, right? And it's only going to take X amount of excess flow. Or we need a secondary treatment system, or we need to hook up to the MWRA. That's the facts of life.
That is.
And every board and every resident has to understand that. Now, what the townspeople are hearing is that the Rockland needs a facility upgrade. They're not hearing that we need some form of secondary treatment system, which we've got to start making public and beating the drum. What everyone else is not taking into consideration, including this board, all right? That sewer upgrade, the money we're talking about, does not include the pump stations, and it does not improve the piping. We will still have to deal with I&I. That $80 million is just for this fence within these gates. It does not include pump stations. Those numbers are in the CWMP, and they alone are scary. Now, I don't want anyone, I've been accused of preaching doom and gloom. I have never preached doom and gloom. I have preached reality. I am an engineer. I'm giving you the numbers. How you twist them, how you manipulate them, you can do it. Anybody can do what they want. But the numbers are real. They're not going to go away. But we need a realistic number from the base of what do they really need. Now, if they're gonna give us 200,000 gallons a day, so everybody knows what that means, based on Title V. 200,000 gallons a day is a maximum of 1,800 one-bedroom residential units. That's no commercial, no industrial, no retail, and there's no municipal support in those numbers. People are saying, "Oh, municipal's free." We still have to treat it. It's still flow. So none of those numbers include that yet. Now, personally, I am all for the base if they can make it realistic and real. They're pushing us for a commitment, and I don't think this board is ready to commit until we have real numbers. What we have to decide is how much money are we gonna put on the table for them to say, okay, we can donate this much towards the smoke and die testing. My recommendation to the board is we're already signed the year 3 I&I work, as we continue with that. Why stop it in the middle of it? We may be able to realize 75,000 gallons of I&I out, infiltration out, might. We have the option of stopping. This is what we have to decide on what we want to do. This is not up for me to decide, not up to Mike to decide, it's up for all of us. Frankly, Weston Sampson, and Mike was on the phone call, said we should continue with our year 3. The base has said several times they don't have a project without sewer, Rockland sewer.
Can I make
Wait a minute, Rockland sewer right now.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
So, they also said, the base also said, we're not telling you to change your current I&I plan. I remember them saying that.
Yeah, no, they did. They're not telling us.
Right.
They're asking us how much we want to contribute.
Right. My feeling is we should continue, this is just my opinion, we should continue with the plan that we have as of today. We should continue with that plan until the base comes forward. But for right now, we should continue with that plan.
Well, that's what I just said.
Oh.
That's what my recommendation was.
Good.
So that we continue what we can till they come up with a financial commitment. I mean, we have a meeting with them Friday morning at 11. Again, it's going to be virtual. Weston Sampson is hosting it. And I know the questions are going to come up is, have we talked as a board about how much we want to do? I don't think we could do anything, quite honestly, till after the town meeting votes. And then I think we have to sit down and say, okay, what do we have to go? I would also caution the board is that we're seeing a lot of mechanical failures. We may have to tap into some funds to overcome those shortcomings. So, these are all things we have to keep in mind, and that discussion needs to be held in open session, I believe. I think if we're gonna have any discussion on the base, any contributions, it should come out in a Zoom meeting where the public can attend, not a working session. I mean, we can nibble away at it at a working session, but before we commit to any vote or any commitment, I think we need to have that openly discussed. These discussions cannot be held behind closed doors.
Oh, no. So, questions, and I may have just missed it, but the smoke and dye testing, does that includes the sump pump program as well?
Smoke and dye testing will show you if you have an illegal sump pump, only illegals. For example, an illegal sump pump may be connected into your washing machine drain.
Yeah. So
It would also be if you're connected to the sewer, because the smoke is gonna pop back up in your house, it can bubble up through the manhole. People may not tell us it's in their house. People may not see the discoloration in the dye in the sump pump. And I'm telling everyone right now, I am not, having grown up in Rockland, I'm the last person that would recommend doing away with sump pumps.
Oh, no, some pumps are necessary.
But
It's
what
just
I
how
think
you
the biggest hit
how they're
you'll get
managed.
from it is roof drains. But you also gotta remember that a lot of drainage issues are caused by impermeable barriers. Impermeable barriers, Danny, at parking lots. When you do a ceiling like a parking lot or a building, that water can't drain through there. So you may have bogus, you may have a design that may have a good pond, retention pond, but is it near drainage with I&I? A bad connection. I think if you're gonna get a bang for your buck out of the roof drains and drainage, it's gonna be uptown in the older sections of town.
Also along Hingham Street too.
Sections of it. I don't think you'll get it in the newer developments, but you may get, that's your impermeable barriers, but you'll find out if there's bad drainage down there with smoke testing.
Well, I think a lot of it, some of the businesses up there, like you just said, they've got these parking lots and all that water is running off. And I
Yeah, but that runoff is designed to go into retention ponds. Now, are those retention ponds draining into bad drainage? No one's ever tested that. Rockland did do some dye testing probably 10 years back and it wasn't very successful. So I guess
that
the
you're
numbers will
showing-
be on to Sherry. I mean,
So the numbers we're looking at for inflow of 1,000,005 for smoke and dye testing, how much of that is really recoverable? I mean, is
And
that a
inflow?
good number?
okay, when
Yeah,
they say, they'll say that 100% may be comfortable. There's nothing as 100%.
because
I'm using 75%, we're lucky. So if we're looking at that 1.5, I'm looking at, what's that, 1.1 million? 1.1. But now, maybe, now the thing is too, when you gotta balance it out, what is the return on the investment? The return on the investment is that flow. When are you gonna realize that flow? I would say in inflow, when you're looking at inflow, if you wanna correct roof drains, you're gonna go in and tell people to do that. Well, behind that, they've gotta have contractors come in and do design work. It may be beyond the finances of some of these property owners, being the private buildings uptown. Corporations may be different, but they also have lawyers that may drag their feet to allow you to, we want more time. You won't see that results in a relative amount of time.
Right, and you gotta do the remediation too.
Right,
Once you
but
find
so
it.
you're not gonna, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you're not gonna see the results. So, now meantime, we've got the, if they're committing this money, we're finding this, who owns that flow?
That's right. Yeah, that's who's gonna see
So
it.
there's a lot of legal questions we need answered, that I need to sit down with Bob Galvin, that I understand, and then he's got to come to an open meeting and explain it in open session, so the people know it.
Now, wasn't a while ago, Rockland did something with inflow and there was only a few takers and.
I just said that, yeah. There was a very few,
Right.
very few.
will Bob address how homeowners or the commercial people would remediate that? Like,
No,
you
he
know, what are
can't,
the-
we cannot, it's not
we
up to us.
cannot. Well, that's.
I've already had
that's
the
what I
discussion
Bob
with
to
him,
say,
and if you
yeah.
look at the regulations, we have the right to
We
inspect.
can inspect it, but there's no,
They can't deny us
Enforcement.
access.
there's no enforcement. Because the numbers for the inflow look great, but as you said, it's gonna take just as long as our infiltration.
It's going to take longer. For example, we found last year that 113,000 gallons, we went in and fixed it last year.
Right,
That's a tangible result.
yeah,
All right, we did a second test and we found 28,000. That's why we're doing the second one, to find out, we can turn that around and repair that.
right,
That's what, the other thing you've got to think of,
yeah,
is that they're gonna find more infiltration in this year 3. Based last year's number, you gotta hold that reserve and probably add 10% to that to remediate that. Then, after that, what do we need for a slush fund for repair work, just in case? And what can I need you to tell me what do you feel comfortable committing now? realize the reason I'm pushing to get Beechwood Estates off is to give us some sort of revenue. And it's a minimal, I think it's only $50,000 between 320 and Manzella,
Yeah, not even.
all right? If I could talk the EPA into allowing Holy Family through the moratorium, the changes I made to the moratorium, that may be a little more. But that's still not gonna be a whole lot of money. Now, here's the other question that I have. Who owns the money we're using for infiltration? It's on here, one of my questions. We took the money from people to find their I&I, all right? If we take the fees from Manzella and 320, for example, we have to use that fee, this is me speaking, we have to use that money to find the I&I to remove their amount. All right? And that's what I'm at, this is not a legal question. Technically, it's our money, but the EPA, if you're gonna allow them in, you're gonna remove that amount,
That amount, yes.
okay? Now we have 5 others on the building. So if we can't use that inflow from the base, we cannot allow another connection. Therefore, we do not have any source of income coming in. So these are the things that are gonna start rearing its eye. It's gonna get ugly this Friday. Because, you know, right now, I've just been listening and listening what they want. Now I wanna hear, what are you willing to contribute? Now, remember what I said at that last meeting, is that that they won't contribute, they're only gonna contribute tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands.
Yep.
And that's not even gonna cover police detail.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got I really need you and Dan to figure out what you're comfortable coming up with a figure. Yeah, I think they're looking for us to foot the bill. We're not. Okay, if we foot the bill even half, as far my position gonna be, I'll do what I want with that inflow. You're just helping me find it.
Yeah.
That this is my position. No, you're the board. Now, here's where I'm coming. I'm saying, whatever I find, it's how I wanna use it. I wanna use it to bring in revenue. I wanna use it to help the residents of Rockland. The base doesn't even have a viable project right now.
The
Right,
road,
I mean, what's their anticipated start date? 10, 15 years from now?
The numbers they had given us, and he was there, the number of 200,000 is all they will need, complete build out in the year 2040.
Right,
Preposterous.
They have to have a project,
So-
official project date is January 2025. That's when they have to have a project, a
They
real
have-
project.
So what I don't want them to do, and I won't allow them to do, is to say they have a commitment from the Rockland Sewer Department that what we find is theirs.
Right.
They will not get,
Oh.
at least from me.
You
If you
can tie
guys,
our
hear me out,
hands.
if you guys vote differently, I'm not telling you how to vote. I need you to be your independent party. I'm looking at it that, I don't want them saying, yeah, well, yeah, we've found 500,000 gallons, our project should be valid. Whoa, I've already got 1 million I need for projects I already got on board that's
I
gonna
know what you're saying.
give me revenue.
I know what you're
So
saying.
there's a lot of questions that Bob Galvin has to answer. And I want it in writing.
Yeah, I would be opposed to reserving any flow for
I mean,
future
if
use.
we reserve it, they have to
Hasn't
pay
been
for it.
found.
Well, see, that's where it's getting funky now.
I know. what
They're
you're
gonna
saying.
give us, or, so I'm just using the example, they haven't said they'll give us a dime yet. But if I were a developer and I gave you $200,000, I'm not gonna give it to you because I'm a great guy.
I know.
I wanna connect right now. Can I just say, okay, we don't wanna take it, then we listen to other boards and committees saying, oh, you've screwed the project. I don't care right now, I care as a resident what goes on in town. My responsibility is to the sewer department, our responsibility is to the sewer department and the users of the sewer system. Okay, that's it. Base is just another customer.
It's
No,
not.
but no, they're not even a
It's,
customer
it's
yet.
not our responsibility to help them figure out how to solve it.
No, but that's what they're going at.
Yeah.
Now, as far as Weston
Been there
Sampson's time, is if you recall, I asked for $15,000 in engineering support. The initial meeting spent that, and they were upset about that, because I just spent the Weston Sampson and Wright Pierce portion. I still have $6,000 in the Veolia portion I haven't spent, which I could spend, we could spend any way we want,
Yeah.
which is probably used up by now. If we're pretty close, it'll be used up by this Friday.
Yeah.
So that is everything in a nutshell where we are. So I'm going to ask you to, each of you, to look at Galvin's letter. Look at Galvin's letter, what I want to send to Bob Galvin. Offer me any changes or edits that you can. I'd like it by Friday, because ideally, I would like to schedule a separate open public meeting with him, because I'm sure a lot of people are gonna have questions on the base. And I want people to understand fully, and I may even have this up at the media center at the high school, that I want everyone to ask their questions, because we're not giving them any false information on numbers. The numbers we're giving are the numbers we're giving. Hi, how are you?
All right, so?
We're just talking about the base meeting and
Okay.
another one this Friday.
Yes.
I will need all right, to figure out the numbers, I need to sit down with you and Mike to go through the different stages of this INI rehab to see where we're at with it.
And well, you got it right now. I can tell you, right now, we're on year 3.
Well, we have.
I'll tell you exactly where we are.
We have year 2 for the second investigation. Hold on, hear me out.
Yeah, go
Year
ahead.
2, second investigation
Yeah.
at $150,000. Have we started that?
Year 2?
Yeah.
Year 2 is done.
Well, that was for this, we didn't spend all of it for the year 2.
Year 2 investigation, whatever we've
And
spent,
remediation.
whatever we have left over for year 2 can carry over. Year 2 is done. Okay? What did I do with my year 3? But I had my beautiful.
All right.
Mike, can I see your letter that I had?
So what was this work that's starting on Thursday?
That. No,
What are you looking for?
this. Yeah, I know, right here. Okay, Thursday we are starting
Yes, right.
spring 2020, the fiscal year 2025. Fiscal, it's that spring 2025, year 3 investigation. That's what we're starting now.
That's the 155%.
And I believe that contract was 165. We just, I don't have a copy with me, we just
Yeah.
signed it last week.
Yeah, it was 155.
Okay. So, that's where we are right now. Whatever's left over from last year, spring of 2024, can carry over to 25. And so you know what I'm saying is that, remember at the base they were saying what we want to commit for funds?
Okay.
What I'm asking them before we consider that, do we want to proceed with year 3? I'm going to ask for a vote on that. Continue. We started year 3. Do we want to cut it short? We're going to vote on that, not now, but maybe later. Or we could vote on it now. They want to know what we could contribute. Well, before I contribute or we contribute that amount, what I want to know is what do we have that we can? And before we can state an amount, what do we want to hold in reserve in as a slush fund for any potential repairs or emergencies?
Okay.
So that's a number that Sherry has got to come up with.
Okay. Right. Yeah, we got some things coming down the line, unfortunately, that I just found out electrically.
That we're not planning for, that
We're not planning for it, and we're not gonna have a choice.
Okay, that's the things,
Yeah,
you're talking
I'm not-
louvers and the fans?
No, that too, that's turned, I'm gonna have, so, on that subject, I have.
Wait a minute, before you get off the subject,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to get to it on it.
Okay,
What I want you to do is come up with a
Some
solid
numbers.
game plan and some
Okay.
numbers
I will do
that
that.
you can supply Sherry and Dan with, Sherry and Mike with,
Yep, I can do that.
okay? And I need, whatever you come up with, add 10% to it.
Yeah, I know.
all right? Because what I wanna do is make sure we have enough to carry us through emergencies.
Yeah.
And then, because I'm gonna tell them we're not prepared to give them an amount this week.
Correct.
I'd like to see them commit to an amount first. And I'm gonna tell them that there's no way it's gonna be 150, I don't think it'll be close to 150,000 we can do. But anyway, that's where we are now, so start thinking of things that need to, pumps, whatever, that we didn't plan on, that's gonna bite us in the butt. And think of that secondary system.
Yeah, that's, yeah, okay.
That's really all I had to add with the base, unless you got anything else.
No,
I went there today and I saw all kinds of suits walking through the fields.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid there's gonna be all kinds of people that, like, I'm looking at a certain development that's gonna say, whoa, 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 we've already been approved. All right, I'm not paying those legal bills. So, anyway, that's not for us, that's for a higher authority to answer, and that's why he's getting paid the huge bucks. I'm gonna put off user fees till a little later, and let's talk about National Grid and the rooftop heating.
all right.
The National Grid, we have a leak in the roof. Mike, you take that.
Okay, so you wanna talk about the leak in the roof?
Now, let's talk about the roof project first.
Okay, so earlier when I started this year, I was told to, Sherry and I was working on looking at the replacing the RTU heaters. And I had reached out to National Grid and they had said that they didn't have any money or grants. And I was told that we should contact Guardian, which was a company, I believe, Rick, that had replaced the original, that had replaced the RTUs before.
Yeah, they've done other green community work.
Okay, while you're bringing in the green community and all that, I'd like you to include Jack in this conversation too. And Jack, feel free to chime in on that now, if any point during this conversation, go ahead.
So anyways, so we reached out to Guardian, and they gave us a quote to replace them, installation, everything cost, the whole 9 yards is $100,000. So I reached out to Patrick again, and he said, so with green communities, most likely the funding this go-around, so this year, has been depleted. Now, the town is right now working with green communities, and there'd be no available funds for the heaters at the wastewater treatment plant. With that said, we could apply next year, which is spring of 2025, for a Green Communities grant. Now, Sherry has set up a meeting with Courtney for tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about applying for a Green Communities grant for next year,
For
now
this
for
year.
next year.
For this year,
I'm sorry, for this year.
applications close on May 10th,
Okay.
Right.
so,
And there's another option too.
Well, so when you say
But-
May 10th,
May 10th. The application goes through the town, which is why we've brought in Courtney to this.
So we've allocated,
Wait a minute,
Let me finish though, because the Green Communities Division also said that rooftop units are not usually energy savings unless they include heat pumps.
Right.
So it's not guaranteed, it's kind of an iffy situation on whether there is, if we're even eligible for these grants.
wasn't this a big question last year?
I thought we were gonna do something with
I
heat
thought we were
pumps.
going to be eligible last
I
year,
thought-
but we had not made the application. in
Correct,
time.
that, we missed them, we
town
missed the
did
We
deadline.
missed the application.
They said they did,
They said they did, well,
through a contractor that they have.
so that's what our
If they're
meeting
not
with Courtney-
doing the rooftop, do they have a split core system that they were willing, that's the equivalent, to install?
They being Guardian?
National Grid.
National Grid.
yeah, so National Grid, they already told me, National Grid pointed me to this company, Guardian.
Right.
That's who they pointed me. The
That's
other,
what we spoke to last year.
right, and then Guardian told me also that there's a possibility we might be available for gap grants. He said we missed the window in 2022, but the next time frame is 2026 to 2027. That's the next gap grant availability. But yeah, Grid pretty much said that they don't have anything for us. That's would have to go
And
this way.
that's, I mean, I think we could, hopefully, they'll make it another year,
What's that?
Okay.
the rooftops.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
yeah.
kinda
they
have to.
kinda have to, and
Yeah.
I think we'll work, I mean, if we have to call up the furnace guy, to come in and fix it, we'll fix it.
What about the leak?
We'll keep it moving.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. So the leak, you were mentioning about when do we repair the roof or
So,
something?
yeah, so every time it rains now, it seems like it leaks everywhere up there. It leaks back in the old, the old bathrooms. We've had a company, who do we have come in here? They were, Gibson Roofs. The last time they came in here was last year, I believe it was, 23. And we spent about 1,300, they patched it. And the guy said to me, I could keep coming back and forth in here and just keep patching it as the leak, almost like a I&I truck, you know what I mean? You fix it and where's it going? It's going further down. And I think that's where we're at with the roof. It's 24 years old now. And I think at some point we're gonna have to look at replacing that entire roof up there, flat roof. But I mean, I can call them, it seems like didn't even rain hard. Yesterday, we walked in this morning, the puddle everywhere. I mean, right down the main hallway.
Well, isn't this building in some part of the upgrade?
What do you mean, the new upgrade? This was the new I'm not sure.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the plant upgrade?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they're touching this at all.
I don't think the money that we've got, folks got issued.
Excuse me.
Who are those
Keep
people
going.
just left?
That's electricians.
Oh,
I
really?
have on site.
So that's the other, so the
Okay,
roof.
so they can keep patching it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll call them up.
24
Obviously, we're not gonna spend $100,000 right now to fix our roof.
Well, so the other problem too is, so if it's metal, like you were saying, if it's metal up there
Yeah.
and it's leaking, if it's corroding, it's gonna
I'll
keep
talk to 'em.
corroding, and eventually you're gonna have to
What I'll
replace
do is, I'll have them come in and give me a quote, see.
to patch it.
Yeah,
either
something more, maybe
patch
they
it.
make a bigger patch, a larger patch, I don't know.
I would say patch it and then the quote to replace the entire roof,
You're right.
so that way we have both.
Right, if you're gonna do everything, I mean, you're
'Cause we're
probably
gonna have to
you're
do-
probably gonna be looking at the rooftops and the roof at some
Yep.
point,
Yep,
Probably get a one package deal.
probably.
Yeah, does it make sense to
Just-
do it at the same time?
It
Yeah.
probably would be,
Yes.
Yep.
yeah, but I mean, that's, what was,
I don't even know.
I wanna say-
I've never received a quote for the entire roof.
that's gonna be
You know, like I
expensive.
said, it seems like, every couple of years we're calling them in, $1,000, $1,500.
Oh, that's all it was, so it was $1,300 to patch it.
for that one, yep.
I
I
mean,
mean, Christ, I got for my roof, it was like $5,000.
Yeah.
And that's the roll roof, and they gotta remove the stone in it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's gonna be,
Yeah, that's what we have up there.
50,000 for all up there.
I just had my roof done $8,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say,
And that was the house, never mind the garage.
so this is a commercial building. I'm gonna
Commercial
s-
building.
Yeah,
Stone.
yeah.
patching.
I'm gonna say 50 grand. That's just a guess.
Yeah,
Oh, depends, how much you gonna do, the whole roof or half a roof?
that's true too, I don't know, I mean,
Ours was at work 15 years ago, it was $500,000.
I'm probably thinking right now the whole roof because, we're getting, every time it rains too, the female's locker room, it leaks in through comes out. Because of the damage up there, like all the tiles have rotted through, we basically replaced them, took them all
So
down.
we have a male locker room and a female locker room, and they both leaking?
Not the male, the female.
Oh,
The
okay.
female one. So, but it's the same roof,
Right,
the
right.
same roof. But I'll get a quote.
Where they move bathrooms?
It's like back that corner.
Yeah.
The water gets in that crevice and just follows it, Follows
I-
it.
They still use it?
Megan was, but I don't have right now.
Yeah.
It's being, it's
So-
open now.
So the locker room, if you go through the men's locker room, you go in the back, that's everything
yeah.
back there, that's, okay.
That's the locker room that's now leaking. But like I said, let me get some quotes first. To come back here and, give us a temporary fix.
Okay.
And then we'll get a quote, for what the cost would be for the entire thing.
And then the other thing is, I don't know, Chuck, is it okay if I bring up Spruce Street?
No, let's stay on the.
No, it's not in the agenda.
Okay.
Looking at the National Guard.
National
it was
Grid?
No,
Guard.
National Grid, yes. I'm looking at Guardian. Guardian Energy, they said the installed cost is 151 with an estimated incentive of 52.
Yeah, so this whole
So
thing,
do we have to pay the 151
no,
up
we
front?
come up right here. The net cost for everything is gonna be 100,000, 99,592.
Who's giving us this incentive? How is that?
I'm not sure, I believe
Is
that,
that
I'm
fine?
sorry,
Okay.
but this is what he told me, he said, our cost out of pocket is 100,000.
Okay, so Guardian is the
Okay.
contractor for National Grid now, and
Correct.
National Grid would do the incentive. But did you include new controls? Because you probably had pneumatic controls, which are no good, or not that good, unless you maintained them very well.
Now that-
Also, engineering work should be in there,
Microprocessor controls.
and programming. Is that all included in
It's
that?
supposed to be,
I
everything's,
think they, yeah, I think.
it's,
they-
everything's supposed
I
to
think-
be included.
Yeah. National,
And as I said, sometimes, did you meet with them face to face or over the phone?
Yeah, they came down here, I believe.
yeah,
Okay, but
yeah.
usually they have a preferred vendor list. And if your rooftop unit is not on their list, they won't give you any money.
Well, this
If
is,
it's on the list, they will give you more money.
Well, it's very simple. I'm gonna call them in and talk to them.
Agree.
Do we have the luxury of time?
We're putting it off till next year, yeah?
All right, call them in.
Yeah, I would think-
Let's
I
put-
would-
Look,
it's too
why don't we
much
just
rushing
call
around.
them in and come up with a game
If
plan
we
now,
can.
so we have a whole year to work it out.
Exactly.
Okay. So,
And if you-
yes, if we can make it, because the other piece to that is that we looked at this as a project of 150,000, and we put in for 75 this year, planning for 75 next year.
But he said something about,
25 to 20, and then
Okay.
75,
That
26.
works.
Mike,
Jack-
what you should do is call them up, organize a meeting sometime in May or June, say June. It'll be in a working session of the board, so it'll be open, Jack, that way that you can attend and
Yeah,
participate.
let me know.
We'll schedule it sometime in June, but we get everything out, find out everything we need to discuss.
On the
Come up with
splits.
an agenda.
Also, if you got a lot of motor control centers you're gonna replace, bring that up now, even though it might be a year or two away. On some of those, they'll give some good incentives. In the past, they have. They change it every year.
Okay. And Guardian is working for National Grid, so we're kind of hooked in with them.
Yeah, okay, work through Guardian, but
Okay.
I'm just
yeah,
telling you,
that's who they told me to
they
work
do
for.
certain things, they may not do everything. So there could be another contractor that's, find out what they do for National Grid.
so you were saying they have split systems too, right?
They have split systems, the church is on it, Holy Family, the town hall has some. I don't know if either, I think the church got money, they paid for those. So, National Grid, I don't know what the town got. But again, they change them every year, so it may not be approved this year, it could be approved next year. Ask them what changes they anticipate for next year, and whatever. I'm shocked they don't pay anything for a rooftop unit though.
No,
That's insane.
no, that's why, National Grid pushed me over to these guys, so they don't, National Grid doesn't give any money.
All right, so let's come up with a meeting in June to get on that.
Well, ask them, because they told me in the past when I was doing it, yeah, there's no money for that, no money for that. We got money for those. You have to have a conversation with them.
Okay, let's make sure
Yeah,
that
I
takes
If
feel
they
place.
can
like
do
there's,
it, they'll do
there's,
it.
yeah.
They'll
Let's
do
make
it
sure that
back.
takes place in June so we can get, I don't wanna lose
Alright.
this again.
Okay.
Rick, the last thing we had with what we need you Rick for, they just told them that where we stand on the Veolia update. It's in the hands of the attorneys. I don't wanna go into any specifics now. Once that's released, I'll let you and Mike know, and then we'll send it out to the board. Well, that, you can go play if you want.
Yeah, I actually have a financial meeting with Veolia next. Let me see, what was I gonna say? Oh, I have one thing, actually. So I got a call from Weston Sampson yesterday for Spruce Street. I know it's not on topic, but I need to get the approval from the board.
The pump station?
Yeah, so we were going to have them use the existing connections for the generator. So that station, like Butternut, doesn't have a fixed generator. What would happens is, if we lose the power over there.
So you're not quick connect?
Yeah, they have quick connects and everything, so they were gonna try to use the old one.
Hey, you already said that.
Yes,
It's
he
bad,
called
yeah.
me, gave me a quote of $4,500.
For a
Just for-
quick connect?
Yeah, trust me, he said, oh, he'll give me the break, and I was talking to the other electrician on site, he goes, well, that's about right. It's a connection, it's the, it's the whole process, but it's an additional $4,500 for that project.
Did we do it for Butternut?
Butternut, we didn't, so Butternut they were able to use the existing one on Butternut. So I actually have Chucky talking to the electrician, see if this, I thought it was.
What's the difference between the two connections? Should we make them
They're
both compatible?
That's the thing, they are gonna be all compatible. So no matter if we go to Wheeler, Butternut, Spruce, Summer, John Burke, they're all compatible.
And do it to it?
So this was the oddball one. I know.
$4,500?
Connect, I mean, that includes the the installation, the whole, I mean, you know, it's.
Design the installation.
Yeah,
on
you
that.
know.
Do I get fries with that shake?
This is
All right.
not part of the contract that we signed?
not.
No,
It's in addition
it'll
to
be
this.
an override. What we'll treat it as a project override.
Yeah, so I just, I said I'll talk to the board and I'll let you know, but they kinda got us because
Yeah.
we need to.
Now,
have
is
that.
Weston Sampson gonna be doing it?
Yep. That was
Okay,
who
then
called
have
me.
it give it to us as a project addendum.
Okay, that was Vito I talked to yesterday.
Can-
Have him get it to us as a project addendum.
I'll,
Now, the generators, your generators?
What's that?
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys own
not the big ones, the little ones.
No, they chain them down?
them. No, we keep them here.
I mean, you leave them out there?
No.
No, what happens is we
Shanty's
go in the truck, we pump down the wet wells, then the guys hop in the truck and go to the next one.
Also, the jet from one to the
Yeah.
other, to the other?
Yeah.
You just don't leave it there?
No,
right?
no. Probably wouldn't be there very
I
long.
was trying to say, we had a bunch of them.
Yep.
They have,
It's
they
not
have
on
it
the
on the
agenda, but
tape.
I got a question for you, I'll ask you later.
Okay. All right, so.
Okay, we're all set.
All right, all set, thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Chuck, opening the door. It's a cool area there.
No, it's getting stuffy in
It
there.
is, it's getting hot.
I was,
That's why I don't like that door closed. All right, where are we? Do you have anything else you want to add before, that's on the agenda?
No.
Want to get Robin in now on the,
User fees.
oh, you, hey, Robin?
Hey, can you, I was gonna ask you to open up that door, please? Because it is getting hot here.
Yeah, why don't you open up that and the back door too,
please,
get
yeah.
some flow.
Please.
Who called me?
Yeah, if you want to
We all
come and
did.
play with us.
Oh,
User fee time.
do you have a copy of the paperwork I left in here for the user fee?
I have this will help you.
I should be my commercial fans here.
Yeah.
User fees, I think where we stand now, we voted on the quarterly increase. Did you hear any more from Weston Sampson on the,
I called Ken and sent him a copy of the FY '25 budget and explained that it was a 14% increase.
no,
And
we
he
haven't
was
quit
going
coming in any
to-
14% increase yet.
Hold on, he's going to
Is that
look
you?
at, he's
I don't
waiting
know.
for the final report on the plan upgrade and he's gonna run all the numbers.
I guess it
together.
was.
Okay, but where we
Operating
stand,
budget from FY '24 to FY '25.
Oh, it was 14%.
It's 14%.
okay, I thought you were
I know,
thinking, our increase is
you were in a different
10%.
direction. Yeah.
I'm sorry, when you said you voted on the increase, that was
We
to the
did
basic
not.
user rate?
Yeah,
Hold on. I don't remember doing that. Hold on. When did we, at our monthly?
no, we did it on
voted-
the, before the monthly,
We voted on the senior discount.
so you just got,
We
yes.
did not vote on any
Right,
other user
okay, you're right,
increases.
you're right.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about going to 14%.
No, that's what we're gonna find out. They claim we don't have to. What have you guys thought about as far as the minimum rate?
A little bit of 10%.
No, I'm talking about as the user rate. It's either gonna be, what, $18?
Yeah, 18, that's gonna be the new.
Yep, so if you go from 10 to 18, you'll generate another 188,000.
I think it's really needed.
I don't,
I don't think it's enough.
Huh?
I don't think it's enough.
Well, that's just the user rate, then you revisit the,
Then we're gonna be waiting to hear on the thing. What I don't wanna do is clobber them.
What is it,
I agree.
$108,000, Robert?
But we have to cover the budget.
188.
We have to cover the budget. Now, the original plan is that we had a steady increase that would cover our operating expenses and leave a little bit extra that we could bank towards future
Retained earnings.
plant upgrade, yes.
Well, we gave them the initial projections for the rate study. What did we give them for a percentage increase?
I think it was like 10, 10, 10.
That's
and
what
then
they're-
next year would drop.
No,
to
that's
7.
what they're doing, but what did we
Yeah.
give them for a budget increase?
I gave them the actual budget numbers,
And at that time it was,
14% increase.
so they had the 14% from the get-go.
From the get-go, I don't know. I'm not sure. They have it now.
Okay, I say, you know, as far as the user rates, let's hold it at the 10% until we hear otherwise. The user, the basic rate, we're going up $8. I would say we make the pain as minimal as we can right now. Again, I'm just speaking my mind, you guys
And I
gotta speak your mind.
totally agree with you. I mean, I understand, you know, everything in the world is going up, and every increase we give to our residents is an increase.
But see
But
also,
we have to pay for the sewer department. We have to cover the expenses. Now, we've already, my opinion, our expenses, we are keeping at a minimum as much as possible.
I agree with you.
But now we are also faced with the fact that we don't have the revenue from new building projects. So it's kind of a double squeeze in there,
New building project.
from any building in town.
Well, that's why I'm saying that if we
So-
delete Beechwood Estates and just even go with Manzella and Concord, that's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket. What I was hoping to do with that money, to be honest with you, is that money plus the increase that we're projecting for this $18. Gotta cover the interest fee on the loan.
I'm sorry, but those fees that you collect that go into the revolving accounts, you can only spend on certain things, and you can't spend it on interest for loans. You
Okay.
can spend it on I&I remediation in the streets.
And then the other is just plain development, which would potentially be a roof or,
I don't know what the
But-
specifics were on the development, you'd have to speak to Scott about
yeah,
that.
it's not specific, but it's not intended to cover just general operating expenses.
Exactly. You have to use it out in the street for development, whatever that you
Well, I'm
decide
sure
when
we
you
can
set
find,
it up.
we've got one crushed pipe that we know of that's gonna be $500,000 that we're keep pushing out
Oh, it's water.
on Ann
So-
Street.
It's,
I'll make a motion that we, unless you wanna discuss it further, unless you wanna hold it for the May meeting, the 15th, and vote on it then, but I'd say we vote on the base user fee now. And if we're gonna give them any good news, it'll be that we're not going up higher than the 10%. If we have to go up higher than the 10%, then we might, if we're gonna be bastards, we might as well become Satan. I don't see any way around it, Sherry.
There is no way around it.
I have a question. Didn't you already advise Weston and Sampson that you were going up to $18 and they're using that while
That's
they're
what they use,
factoring?
that's what they're using now.
Right, so if you don't go up to the $18, then that throws their numbers off.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, okay, never did, I did.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay,
at least send them a check.
I will make a motion that we up the fee, basic fee. Oh, no, I can't, my keys are in the gun.
It's not me.
$18,
It's not me, I don't
so I
have.
have $18 a quarter.
Effective,
Effective, I would go, do we wanna go July 1st or go immediately?
Immediately.
Okay, effective May,
wait a minute, let me think about that for a second, if you
Okay,
don't
right,
mind.
'cause she's got
It's
billing to
April,
figure out.
right?
yeah.
That means I'm only gonna be billing May and then June.
All right, so why don't we just make it
It
July?
won't hit everyone, it'll only hit 2/3 of the residents, which is awkward.
Yeah,
Okay.
make it July 1st.
You can do, just do it this next time, I already paid my bill.
Okay, the motion is to raise the base user fee to $18 a quarter effective July 1st.
Yes,
Do I have a second?
yes,
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor, Mr. DeRoss?
yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes,
And I am a yes also. So effective July 1st. Should we send out a notice?
It's too late.
can we add it to the bill?
Right, but only some residents are gonna get it because we already are into this quarter. So only
But can
2/3 will
we-
get it. I can change it,
Can we at least do it on the July 1st billing so that everybody that gets a bill will get a notice that it has been increased?
people will get it. The first quarter that already went by, those people are gonna get the increase before they get the note.
Well,
Because
I'm
I've
sure
already
if
Is
we,
billed
it
them.
printed on the bill?
I'm sure
Not
if
we don't, we bill every month, but not every customer.
Yeah, I know.
Right, so
So
we're
this does
already
impact people.
1 month into the last
July.
quarter. I
Yes,
billed them last month for now, they've got their bill. They're not gonna get another bill until July, and the rate will be on their new bill, and they won't have been notified.
Right, And that's gonna apply to everybody, and that's why I'm saying at least draw it to their attention that it went up.
Right, but everybody won't be notified
sure
because
not.
the bills for the first month of this quarter have already gone out without a notice.
But they
There's
don't
only
have the
two.
increase.
Right,
Right,
they're,
not till
they're
June.
gonna, when they
Yeah.
get their bill in July,
Yeah,
it'll be too late to notify them because they'll already
So,
have the increase.
I'll tell
No,
you what,
when
tell you
they
what,
get
that's easy enough rectified, why don't we just mention it at the 15th, and I'm sure bad news is gonna travel fast.
We're already
what I'm
billing
saying
them.
is when you get your bill, it'll have a little thing on it that says, oh, by the way, this includes the
I
increase.
understand that,
Yeah,
but we've already sent out a bill for the first month of the last quarter and it didn't have the notice in it.
Nor does it have the increase.
Right, but
Okay.
the only people who are gonna get notified are the people that get billed in the second month of this quarter and the third month of this quarter. Then we'll be into the people who get billed the first quarter. In July, the notice is too late because they already have the increase on their bill. They'll be getting the notice and the increase at the same
Okay,
time.
I'm sure if we notice, if we
Which
mention
is,
it, the
do
15th.
you know how much the phone's
Alright.
gonna ring off the hook with people saying, you're just notifying me now?
I don't wanna create a problem.
Right,
Okay.
Okay. Part-time administrative assistant, that this here? Rob,
yes. They're each going each way because,
Dana,
does Sherry have one?
Sherry,
Yeah.
Mike has one, he went to his own.
okay. We'll refer to them as candidate A, B, C, D, no names.
Correct.
Okay, what we're looking at is a part-time assistant down here to help with the billing, et cetera. 19 hours a week max. The salary or the compensation has already been planned into our budget. So, I guess what we're looking at is who we want to speak with. I had looked at them and before we came up. And really, I talked to all of them. And just to get a feel.
Okay.
As far as the interviewing, I'm gonna leave it up to, I think it should be Sherry, Mike, and Robin do the interviewing. And Mike and Robin recommend, really Robin recommend, but Mike and Robin recommend to us who's the best candidate they want to work with. All I know is I get dibs on the computer.
I don't think that HR is gonna allow me to be involved in
Yeah, I don't,
interviews.
yeah. I'm
That's
thinking
fine.
Probably not.
I find you rather unpleasant detail.
Well, thank you for announcing that in open
Okay,
meeting.
so you know that means he can't participate, he's not a member of the board.
Who?
The criteria was not that you had to be a member of the board to participate.
Right.
The criteria is, I'm not a manager and I'm in the union, that's why I can't participate.
You get out of
He's
here.
not affected by either
Give
of
me a
those.
leave.
Pardon?
Give me a leave, you served no purpose here.
Absolutely, thank you.
No.
No.
So, I guess, so you can't interview.
I cannot.
Okay, so Sherry, you and
In
Mike
this
do the
instance.
interviewing.
Yes, and I believe we can have Courtney sit in as well if we want some
Courtney, you mean?
HR guidance in some way.
Who is the HR? It's not Courtney.
There's, no, they don't have an HR person.
No,
Oh,
they
then
do,
no.
her name is Eileen.
Eileen,
She's
yes.
a part-time
Yeah.
person.
Have Eileen sit in.
Okay.
Have Eileen sit in with, I'd like if you could bang them out in one day or two.
We can certainly do that.
How many people you coming?
3.
We just had the 3 candidates.
When they work from home?
No,
Can Robin rate them A, B, C or no? Probably not. Rate them.
Well,
You know what the job entails.
I do.
Can
That's
you,
it.
what about having Robin just, like some questions, a list of questions that she wants like specific?
I wanted to know why she can't rate the resumes, 1, 2, 3 candidate, say,
Yeah,
selections,
sure.
1, 2,
No,
3.
she's right, she can't do it.
No, because, no, can't have union.
You're a union guy anyway.
Yeah.
I know the
Alright.
practices.
All right, she could just say,
You can make the game plan by June.
somehow or another, bring her in the loop. I hate to refer to her as her, please bring Robin into the loop. I didn't want to be gender specific,
She had
we'll give you a name.
cookies and sandwiches here for the,
All right, I will reach out to Eileen and schedule interviews. we'll have to pick a day.
With that, I'll take a motion in today's meeting.
I'll make the motion to end today's meeting.
Second,
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes,
Ms. Valley?
yes.
yes.
I don't know. Okay. Done.